Look. I got it.
6:12.
Do you ever have to like validate if people have to log in or whatever, like it sends you out?
We are recording.
Are you making all your staff come in now?
Yeah.
It feels like we have a full house, but it's all.
Yeah, it's all inside. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to City of Greenfield City Council meeting, May 12th. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor White,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez,
Here.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Here.
Councilmember Moreno Mares,
Here.
and Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Very much. Move to invocation by Pastor Deanna Salinas.
Blessings, everyone. Let's pray. Lord of heaven and earth, we dedicate our city council and pray that all who serve will seek your authority, purpose, and glory. God of all generation and nation, we seek your face as we pray for our city council. May every person who serves in this council surrender his or her life and seek your will in the laws and leadership of this land. Please compel them to work in godliness according to your will and word for your glory and not their own benefit, knowing that you are a rewarder of obedience. Please saturate them in your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Prompt them to seek you as they steer and steward this city where you have shed your grace and blessings. To you alone be the glory, praise, and honor. In Jesus' name. Amen.
You all please stand for the pledge. Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review.
No changes, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Public comments from the audience regarding items not on the agenda. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address council on items not on closed session, consent calendar, public hearings, and city council business. Under state regulation, no action can be taken on non-agenda items, including issues raised under this agenda item. Members of the public should be aware of this when addressing council regarding items not specifically referenced on this agenda. We have someone to speak.
Good
Go ahead.
evening, everyone. My name is Ernest Gallardo, and I'm here to address a situation that I feel needs to be looked at. And it's the electric scooter situation here in town. As you probably all know, I belong to the Monterey County TAMC. I'll put it there. I belong to TAMC, the Pedestrian Bicycling Committee. And last week while I was there was, I believe it was Wednesday of last week over in Seaside for our meeting. And that was brought up. And it's kind of ironic that all the communities that participate in that committee have the same problems. It's an ongoing situation. So it's like, okay, so what are we gonna do about it? Last week I had the pleasure of meeting with Chief Mixer, and we briefly discussed it. And it's ironic that I believe he said that morning there was a woman who came in and addressed the same situation, that she had a close call with someone. About 2 weeks ago, I had a situation. I was going on 12th Street, and there was a young boy, probably 15, 16 years old, on a scooter. And he was just taking up the whole road, just going from side to side. So I was able to get by him. A couple blocks up, I stopped him. And I said to him, you know what, you're going to get hurt, or you're going to hurt somebody. And he told me in no uncertain terms what I should do with myself and where I should go. So I just let it go. But it's an ongoing situation. I told Chief Mixer that I believe we've got to the point, from my perspective, we've got to the point where we need to stop warning people and start citing them. And it's like, I realize that most people, most parents maybe wouldn't be able to afford a fine, But if that's what it's gonna take to get everyone into compliance, my wife, she's my parole officer. My parole officer said that that it's time for us to be proactive, not reactive. Do something about it before it happens. And she suggested that maybe we should put flyers in everyone's water bills, because everyone in the community gets a water bill, and make them aware of what's going on here, that people are gonna start getting fined. I mean, maybe we should go as far as, okay, if we see someone in violation, I mean, young kids under the age of 18, they all need to be wearing helmets. We all know that, whether it's an electric scooter or a bicycle. So we need to do something about it. It's like, I realize that this isn't gonna be a pressing issue for a police department, but we need to do something before somebody gets seriously hurt. I mean, we had an accident 3 weeks ago or so where a young boy was hit, and it was his fault. And fortunately for him, he wasn't hurt seriously, but again, I think we need to step up and do something. So let's be proactive, not reactive. Thank you so much for your time.
Very good. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Dr. Lourdes Villarreal. First, I want to thank city staff, specifically Maria from Public Works, who today helped me understand my water usage and the reason for the extra charges. So I will be keeping track of that and try to minimize my usage as well as my charges. The reason that I'm here today is, like, I think it's the third time that I come to ask you to please place on a future agenda the licensing of dogs and dogs not on a leash. The other day, 4 pet owners had 5 small dogs not on a leash at the park. Owners were not paying attention to the dogs. They were just walking ahead of the dogs. 3 pet owners didn't have any visible leash on the dogs, and they were not carrying any leash themselves, the owners. 1 dog was running around with a leash, but he was dragging the leash on the ground because the owner was not holding on to the leash and was going ahead of the dog. I had to end my walk with my dog because of that. Sometimes even because dogs will come at me. So even small dogs can cause damage. I have 2 recommendations. When code enforcement does arrive, if they're reported, they need to get down from their car and walk around, especially at Patriot Park. There are areas where you're not going to see them. I could see code enforcement driving around, and the situation is not where they could see it. I mean, you know. The other is, just like the gentleman said, so this might be, you know, you might decide what goes where in the water bill, but the second recommendation was going to be for you to include an informational flyer about the codes on animals, and along with the fines that go with when codes are not, you know, when they're violated. It took a lot for me to say what I did at the last meeting. Ultimately, it's about safety, the safety of everyone. And so please, I ask you to please put it on an agenda so that there could be a good discussion about it, and more information, or just start finding, like the gentleman said, because maybe that's what it's going to take. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else in chambers? I do see a couple hands raised.
Alan Martin.
Hello, thank you. My name's Ellen Martin, and I am the Executive Director of First Night Monterey. I'd like to thank the mayor and the city council for the opportunity to speak tonight, and for the city of Greenfield and the city manager's support for the support that you've given us in our arts and community programs in Greenfield. In 2008, when the Greenfield School District announced they weren't going to have summer school, we responded because we were concerned for the youth in the committee and started a summer arts program, which we have continued to this day, even through COVID. In 2009, when City Manager Wong shared that the city faced $1 million budget and they weren't going to no longer do the Greenfield Harvest Festival, I personally felt very strongly that losing that event would be a tremendous loss. And we stepped in and began producing it in 2010 with the support of the city, because we believe community events and art programs are very important. They bring the people together, cultures, generations, neighborhoods, and it being the only large community event that Greenfield does. So over the years, we have provided arts programming, family activities, cultural events, and we're really happy to say that we are getting ready to begin our summer program. We have to finalize it with the rec department, but we'll begin in July and have 5 weeks, and then also begin our Wednesday night programming again. We just hope to continue partnering with the city of Greenfield to bring professional artists, art education and cultural programs, community engagement to all the residents. And we do appreciate the support of the city for all these years that we have been producing programs in Greenfield free of charge to all the residents. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Thank you very much. We have one more there, I think. Richie, did you wish to say something?
Connecting to audio on the bottom. I don't think he has audio.
What's that?
It says connecting to audio on the bottom
Okay,
of his
so
name,
he's still
so
working on
he
it.
may still, yeah.
Richie?
Let's hold up just 1 minute and I'll put a time limit on this here shortly. I don't think he's going to be able to run. All right, we'll move on. So go right ahead. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Margarita Tinajero, and I have worked with Ellen Martin in the First Night of Monterey for the past 5 years for the Summer Arts Program. And also for the Harvest Festival, and most recently as the producer of Wednesday Family Art Nights this past winter. I've also supported the free art activity at the Holiday Tree Celebration, an event First Night Monterey has supported for many years. I had seen firsthand how important these programs are. Families come together, children who may not always have access to art supplies, classes, or creative opportunities are able to express themselves, try new skills, and feel part of what they create. Parents and grandparents participate too, making this a true community program. Not only that, but also gives opportunities to high school volunteers to gain community service and internships for those who recently graduated and plan to create a career in the arts. So last year I got the chance to work with a former student of mine, and she will be coming back this summer. So I'm just really excited to continue this important program for the community, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We want to try that one more time, or are we good? Is that the same one?
Richie?
Good evening, Council. My apologies on that. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. My name is Richie Sidelong. I serve as an outreach analyst with the California Department of Insurance. Thank you again for the opportunity for me to speak today. I'm calling to respectfully request your support for a package of wildfire recovery and insurance reform bills currently under consideration at the state capitol. These measures are authored by Assembly members Mike Gibson, Lisa Calderon, and Senator Steve Padilla, and they are focused on addressing ongoing recovery challenges in wildfire impacted communities across California. The first bill is AB 1795, authored by Assemblymember Mike Gibson. It would establish clear public health standards for smoke-damaged homes. After a wildfire, many homes may appear structurally sound, but still contain hazardous smoke contamination. Without clear standards, homeowners often face delays, disputes, and uncertainty regarding remediation and insurance coverage. This bill creates clarity, protects public health, and streamlines recovery. The second bill is SB 876, authored by Senator Steve Padilla. It strengthens disaster recovery protections and expands living expense coverage. Families displaced by wildfires are often out of their homes for extended periods. This measure helps ensure residents have adequate coverage for temporary housing and related costs, reducing that financial hardship during a time of crisis. The last bill is AB 1680, authored by Assemblymember Lisa Calderon. It reforms and increases accountability within the FAIR Plan. As more Californians turn to the FAIR Plan due to insurance market instability, it is critical that the program operates with transparency, sustainability, and strong consumer protections. This bill aims to provide oversight and help stabilize the insurance market for wildfire-impacted communities. Together, these measures are designed to speed recovery, reduce coverage gaps, increase accountability, and strengthen long-term community resilience. Local government support is incredibly important in advancing policies that directly impact residents, and I respectfully ask for your consideration and report. I'm also happy to provide fact sheets on each of these bills along with a brief survey, and I would also welcome the opportunity to deliver a short 10-minute presentation at a future council meeting to provide a legislative update and answer any questions. Thank you for your time, leadership, and your continued commitment to protecting your community.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have any comments? If not, I'll bring it back to council for city council comments.
I just want to wish our 4-H club well at the King City Fair. That's it.
Okay,
I have no comments tonight.
no comments?
I don't have any either.
Guys,
It's a slow news day.
Wait till we get to the good part over here.
I have a few things. My wife and I attended the Dolly Parton Imagination Champions Breakfast on May the 6th. The breakfast was sponsored by First 5 Monterey County, Bright Beginnings and Bright Futures. The goal of this program is to give free books each month to every child from birth to age 5. The books are available in English and Spanish. There will be more publicity moving forward, but I encourage everyone to sign up your children or grandchildren for the program or to contribute money to the program if you're able. There will be books sent to each child in the program every month. The program has been available in other parts of the country, but just now coming to Monterey County. It has been proven to close literacy gaps, strengthen home literacy environments, inspire reading, and build positive family reading habits. So remember and watch out for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library sign up or contribute to their fund. Also wanted to announce great news. Greenfield has been awarded a $6 million grant from California Department of Parks and Rec to go toward the building of our recreation center. This will be combined with the $8.5 million state parks grant we received a few years ago from Prop 68. This is moving us closer on our recreation center project. The total cost is estimated to be 22 to 25 million. As a reminder, we purchased the land, 9 acres, and hired an architect. So the project is located at 12th and Apple. So we are moving forward. And finally, Alliance on Aging reached out to me. They're looking for a representative from our area to serve on an advisory group. If you're interested, you can reach out to me or call 277-0514. So if you're interested in that. Sure, go ahead.
What Mr. Gallardo had said earlier, I brought that up at our last meeting, was about the bikes and the kids. And we were talking in the back, and I was letting them know in Fresno on one of the streets, Bullard. There was a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old at 11 o'clock at night with no helmets. The 13-year-old died on the scene, and the 12-year-old is alive but had his legs amputated. And so this is 11 o'clock at night. I was telling Paul that I had to pull over the other day, and I rolled my window down to yell at somebody just like Mr. Gallardo did. It's becoming a big problem. The kid that I yelled at was just weaving in and out of the road and no helmet. They're driving these e-bikes on the lawn at the park next to my house. And you can hear them all the time. And it's something that we need to address urgently, because somebody is going to get hurt. I think we did have an accident probably a week ago or something. Yeah. It's just a matter of time before something really tragic happens. So we need to get in front of this, and we need to do something quickly rather than later. Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one action of City Council unless a request for removal for discussion or explanation is received prior to the time council votes on the motion to adopt. Do we have any public comments on the consent calendar? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council. Any questions or comments?
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve. I need a second. Then moved in second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move to proclamation. A proclamation declaring May 2026 as Mental Health Month. One here. Proclamation declaring May 2026 as Mental Health Month. Whereas mental health is essential to the overall well-being of individuals, families, and communities. And whereas millions of Americans experience mental health conditions each year, and early intervention and access to care and community support can significantly improve outcomes. And whereas Mental Health Month has been observed each May since 1949 to increase awareness, reduce stigma, and promote access to mental health services. And whereas individuals living with mental health challenges can do and lead meaningful lives, productive lives, when supported by compassionate, community-based systems of care. And whereas Monterey County residents benefit from a network of behavioral health providers, peer support specialists, housing programs, and community organizations working collaboratively to support recovery, stability, and well-being. And whereas stable housing, access to treatment, and social connection are critical components of mental health and long-term wellness. And whereas organizations such as Interim Incorporated, along with many community partners, play an important role in Monterey County by providing housing, mental health services, and recovery support to individuals experiencing serious mental illness and homelessness. And whereas it is vital to recognize the contributions of mental health professionals, community-based organizations, peers with lived experience, family members, and advocates who work to ensure that no one faces mental health challenges alone. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and city council hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Mental Health Month in the city of Greenfield, and encourages all residents to increase their awareness of mental health, support those in need, and help build a more compassionate and resilient community.
They were unable to attend, so we'll be mailing it to them.
Emailing it? Okay, very good. Thank you. Take my time on this one. This one's, we have people here for this one. National Public Works Week proclamation. Rooted in service, powered by community. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Greenfield, And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Greenfield to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Greenfield hereby designates the week of May 17th to the 23rd of 2026 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens with representatives of American Public Works Association and government agencies and activities, events and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all. Somebody to accept this?
Photo op. That was literally perfect timing. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll move to we'll move to J3, City of Greenfield fiscal year 2026-27 departmental budget plan presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a hopefully not too lengthy, although every department's going to be up and they're going to give their accomplishments for this year, their hopes and aspirations for this coming year. And then you'll see some numbers in the middle like we did last year. It's really an opportunity for the department heads and division heads to speak in front of council. These numbers are not etched in stone, but we have spent a long time trying to get them to a point that where we think they're going to be workable. We are planning for a balanced budget. We're holding a public workshop next Thursday at 6 o'clock. And that's for everybody. Hopefully everyone can come out and enjoy this. That'll be if you want it to be a line by line item analysis, we'll definitely go there. It's really an opportunity for council, public, and staff to have a dialogue related to what we're expecting to happen next year. This is the operations budget. We still need to do capital projects. We need to propose them to city council. That'll happen probably at the workshop. We'll give you an opportunity to take a look at what we're looking at. The initial presentation of the final balanced budget will be on June 9th with possible adoption, depending on what council wishes to do. The secondary presentation, if needed, will be on the 23rd of June with the possible adoption. All right, so I'm going to kick off. My instructions to staff was 3 minutes. You got 3 slides. You might have a title slide as well, but 3 minutes max. You can't pass on any excess time to your buddy department head. We're trying to get through
no tapping
this.
in or out, right?
It's all fun. So Fabiola, you can get us started.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and City Council and community members. Thank you all for being here. I will start my timer so I can have something to glance at here. So this year, you'll notice the operations part of our budget has increased, and that's largely due to the support of our grants that we have received. So those grants definitely support our workshops, which is what and our programs, which is what I will get into on these next slides. So this year we had a lot of key accomplishments. I'll highlight a few, but there's just a lot to go over. Our grant activity and funding support, these really allow us to expand programs that are initially or city funded would be very small scale. Funding definitely supports us to increase our ability to serve. We completed the full cycle of the California Volunteer Service Corps, served 41 interns, had 99 applicants during that funding cycle. So we were able to interview, at least have that interview experience and support for almost all of those applicants. That's of course not including our city funded program before we received those grants. It just shows the success and the need to continue finding those supportive grants to expand this type of program and training opportunities. We were awarded another round of California volunteers to serve 18 more young adults. And we have a partnership with the Greenfield School District to allow us to boost our positions to serve our local youth. We received the ICMA grant, the Montage donation, and the Measure X transportation voucher program is pending approval. So we'll hear within the next, hopefully, few weeks, and that's the transportation vouchers that'll support senior residents and those with disabilities with door-through-door transportation. Our youth and young adult leadership workforce development, we have 9 youth members representing the Greenfield Youth Council. They had a very successful action project, which was the driver and pedestrian safety. We have those numbers where the KSBW's positive coverage of that reached a lot more than our social media views. We had our 3rd annual Youth Summit in collaboration with City of Soledad, Gonzales, along with their youth councils. I combined the internship and the youth council feedback here. The youth council accomplishments. We have folders of positive feedback for our internship program, but this really is one of my favorite ones. This local young adult specifically stated that this internship helped him move into his own apartment, secure a full-time job at the school district, as well as, it was also the job of his dreams, actually, what he studied for. And he mentioned that those opportunities would not have been possible without this program. So it just shows the positive effect it has on their lives. Senior resident activities, we have a full calendar of events every month. And those events that I'm referring to are not including the recreation's senior exercise activities. We have 105 workshops from the beginning of this fiscal year to now, not including June. So that's a lot of workshops in a month that we've had. Those are the nutrition workshops, art, yoga, technology, the walks, the crafts, and so much more. The combined total attendance was nearly 2,000, and that's not including this month and June's total. We had a successful first senior resident field trip with a full bus, and we are already planning some more. And we started the planning in partnership with Alliance on Aging to do our senior advisory recruitment. Key initiatives for next year, continuing to find supportive funding through foundations, state funding, federal funding. And one of my department's key initiatives is to track. We do track to a degree, but some more specific tracking to see how we can, to see the sustainability and also to have positive data for future grants. We will continue and enhance our structured internship and youth leadership programs, as well as our partnerships that allow us to bring more knowledge to these, whether it's during our classroom training portions, during the internship programs, and just invite different providers from across the county to speak to our youth that we serve. Senior resident engagement and strengthening these partnerships, that applies to both the youth and young adult engagement as well as the senior resident engagement. And those things definitely, those partnerships help us to expand our delivery capacity. I'm at 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So yeah, we really hope to expand our senior focused services, bringing more to our senior residents if we can. But for now, we're trying to keep what we have sustainable and looking for more funding in the future. And I'm open to any questions.
Questions from council? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lots of information.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council and community. Guillermo Mixer, Director of Public Safety for our wonderful police department and fire department. We've had a very active year. And of course, we have the spending to go with that because as we know, public safety is #1 on the strategic plan for the city. We need our residents to be safe, our community to be free of violence. And a lot of the issues that we have in other communities, we don't have here in Greenfield. I can proudly say that we did not have a homicide last year. We had one the year prior solved. With all the violence that we had throughout South County, you know, the mass shooting in King City, 11 shot, 4 killed, 2 more randomly, 2 more in Soledad, San Jose, kids that were from Greenfield, but that did not occur in Greenfield. So we're very proud of the work that we've been doing. And I'm sure as you are out and about in the community, we don't have the same amount of shootings that we used to have. We don't have a lot of the back and forth gunshot violence that we used to have. And it takes a lot of work, and it takes not just the enforcement aspect of it, but also the community partnerships. So key accomplishment #1, precision policing and evidence-based policing. We are specifically targeting the people that we know who are doing the crimes. This isn't New York City, stop, question, and frisk people randomly. Where's your papers? None of that nonsense. We focus on who we believe are involved in these crimes. We build the evidence, build the case, and then we try to bring them to justice with the court systems. With that is accomplishment #2, partnering with our other partner agencies and federal agencies, specifically FBI, ATF, and HSI, and DEA. We have a wonderful relationship with them. With that, obviously, they have deep pockets. And as we're going through this whole budget presentation, we currently have 3 vehicles being paid for by the federal government. These are detective and administrative vehicles. We're looking to get 1 more. So we're definitely leveraging our partners to fund some aspect of our police department, in addition to overtime. A lot of these cases that we work jointly with our government partners, we can get up to $22,000 per officer on overtime. So we're definitely trying to leverage that and, you know, cut down on our overtime because that's one of the biggest and unpredictable aspects of our budget. And key accomplishment #3, advancing technology. That's a tough one. It's dynamite. Depends how you use it. Depends how you present it, and depends what safeguards we have on it. As I mentioned before, yes, we have flock cameras. Yes, we have license plate readers, but we only keep the data for 30 days. We dump it. We don't want it after that. Even though long-term investigations, we wish we had some of that information, but really to keep our public and to be transparent, we don't need that information for very long. And that's why we only have it for 30 days. And we have a very robust policy on that. And our initiatives, build a positive work culture. That's number one. We want our employees to be happy where they're at. We need to have them look forward to come to work. We want them to grow. We want them to expand. And leadership, engagement, that all leads to better community service. If we can treat them good inside, they're going to treat our community well on the outside. Leadership training, yeah, fostering growth, consistency, and that's part of our long-term success plan. And I'll take any questions that we have for the police department.
I'm just curious on your budget there, Chief. I noticed that the personnel looks like it's estimated to go down, whereas operations are going up a little bit. How's that working?
So we lost 2 officers that were higher on the pay scale to Salinas. We had a couple shooting stars. There's no way we can hold them hostage in Greenfield, right? These kids, we need to build them. We need to let them fly. And also we were a little under, we didn't fulfill 2 positions. So we're kind of holding back on being fully staffed. We're doing well as it is, but we're very conscious of where we need to be. And we understand the constraints that we have coming up. But with that, our operations budget is going to go up, and we may even be a little bit under this current fiscal year. So that current estimate, the middle column there, may change.
Why?
Yeah, if I can ask, I'm sorry, I can answer some of that. We have internal service departments, information technology, IT, computers, HR, and risk management. Those are not forward facing, but they do serve all the other departments and divisions. What we've started doing a couple of years ago is to allocate all those department expenses out to where they're doing their work. This increase is a pretty big increase, and Chief did say that this year might be a little higher than the 1.7. More is being allocated because more IT expenditures are going to the police department than have been in the past, as well as risk management. So insurance, because they're leveraged towards issues happening and the preventative measures that we take. So expenses will flow more to PD than anyone else.
So does that mean that almost extra $1 million, that's 900?
Well, if you look, last year's total operations and expenditures is around 8 million. This year, it's around a little bit less than 8 million, but just figure it's going to be around 8 million. And if you look at the budget estimate for this year, it's right around 8 million. It's all very similar. I think it will end up next year, will end up being higher because of the things that the chief was talking about, but I don't think it's going to be significantly higher.
Because the personnel went from 6.094 to 5.4. Does that 5.4 going to stay that if we cut, or we short, or we have openings?
Yeah, so it's probably going to go higher depending on the amount of overtime we have. If there are open positions, that will tend to decrease it. So I don't know that do you have any, this is anticipated full staffing, but if we've got any open positions during the year, that will cause the personnel numbers to go down. That makes sense. So vacancies in positions will cause the expenditures to go down, but many times those vacancies need to be funded by overtime. So that will cause it to go up. I say many times, not all the time, but many times they do. So will it go up? It probably will go up, but there's also going to be things that make it go down. If we lose a person and we spend and we don't fill it immediately, there will be some savings in salaries and benefits.
You know that I just asked because I'm really worried about our budget. And there's only so much of the pie, and if we're going to give a bigger piece of the pie to somebody, that means somebody's pie is going to get slightly smaller.
Mhm.
That's all.
Yep.
That it's not like we have another 900 somewhere that we can just give away. We're going to have to take it from someplace or somebody
Right.
to give it to them.
Yep.
That's all.
And Next Thursday, we can go line by line. So we'll be able to see all those things as well as the funded positions and where they're falling.
Thank you so much. I just want to be really transparent with people who are listening and watching that we do have an eye and ear on this, and then we're not just gonna just, oh yeah, give them more, give them more.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I didn't mention the grants that we received this last year, traffic safety grants from CHP, 60,000, which is overtime, DUI, saturation patrols, and also cannabis, driving under the influence. So a lot of, and it's a different cycle. It runs under the federal cycle, doesn't until September. So we don't have all those numbers up here yet, but that's additional overtime that's being reimbursed by the state.
Thank you so much.
Fire department. Here we go. Personnel costs are going up by a little bit, and so are operations. Again, the operations, and I think as City Manager Wood mentioned, the costs paid to the costing for HR, for IT, those are going up for everybody. Last year, fire department responded to out-of-county fires, and during that fiscal year, we were able to make about $200,000 for the city. But if we count the calendar year, because we also responded to the Palisades fire and one additional fire, it was $400,000. So there's an opportunity there for the fire department to increase revenues that benefits not just the fire department, but also the city as well. And with fire season starting next Monday, May 18th, we're we'll obviously be ready and need to respond as needed and as we're allowed to. And of course, our accomplishments, protect the lives and property of Greenfield residents. More than 90% of the calls that we have are medical calls. So we have, I can't say enough about our fire department, male and female firefighters. They do a wonderful job of responding. They're very professional, respectful. They do so much training. We're there every day, and we see these guys and gals working, pulling up ladders, putting stuff down, bringing out the medical bags, checking, teaching the part-time firefighters. And the beauty of it is the more they teach, the more they learn, and the faster and more proficient they become in their profession. It's very rewarding to watch and see them grow and teach the younger firefighters. Initiative, training certification, constant training, strengthen our community outreach and education. We're going to need some equipment in the next few years, so we'll definitely got a plan for that and come up with a good budget and forward-thinking plan. Advanced EMT, that's something. Greenfield has the slowest response time by AMR, and it's not that bad. I think it's an 80%, 88% response rate compared to 90%. I think it's the cutoff for most of the county, but we have the slowest response time. But we also have the benefit of having full-time municipal fire department, which, Soledad has CAL FIRE, King City's got volunteers, so our firefighters are there before AMR gets there. And I think their average response time is right around 2 minutes and 20 seconds, which is outstanding. So something as we're looking forward, maybe we can create a paramedic position down the road. Obviously not now, but because we are a little remote and we don't have AMR stationed here, they're in King City or Soledad, having that advanced life-saving paramedic would be a big benefit to the city in the future as funds allow and training allows and all that good stuff. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I do want to make a comment. It was just kudos to the fire department and all of our first responders in general. I've said this before with the professionalism that both departments display when they're responding to calls is exceptional. Recently, my family had a really scary situation with child under 2 had a medical emergency 2 days in a row. And it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying for all of us, especially the parents, of course, and the baby siblings. And witnessing that response again is just, makes me so grateful that we have our fire department and they're there to really comfort the family in those moments, because it's the technical skills of saving a life and stabilizing things, but it's also so much management of everybody's emotions in the emergency and helping people stay calm and have confidence that their loved one will be okay. So just a personal thank you for for the professionalism of your departments.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very impressed by the professionalism and they care. They actually care. And when they show up, you can feel that. So thank you.
Was listening to the news to, I think it was in Gonzales, is trying to pass a measure for theirs, and they were saying that 70% of the population is in favor of funding the fire department measure. But they interviewed the one person who said he was in the 30%. He goes, what about me? And I understand that because, you know, we, as a property owner, I pay a lot of taxes and it shows up but when that fire happened this year, just 3 houses down from mine, and then the fire jumped from one backyard to the next backyard to my next door neighbor, and I'm next. That's when you're like, okay, pay them double. Because of the damage that would have happened would have been way more than the taxes that I pay. You know, it just, right there, I understand that it's so hard to give money that you don't see. How's it helping me? How's it helping me? And yet, when it does, you're so grateful that it protected my family, it protected the kids, it protected the property. So it's that insurance that we just have to have you there, you know. Just like our car insurance, I'd rather pay and never have an accident than having to not having that. So you're worth it.
Thank you.
I also would like to commend our fire department. I know when the sirens are going off because I'm hard of hearing, but my dogs howl. So I know how many times the fire department's going out during the daytime. But we had a family gathering at Rinconcito about 1.5 years ago. And one of the birthdays we're celebrating, the gentleman ended up having a little seizure type that day, and called the fire department. They came, and there was about 15 of us in our group, and we were having a good old time. You know, I think he shouldn't have drank, and he probably had one too many margaritas, but whatever. Well, we were in chaos of everything. We went in to go pay. Fire department paid for all of us, for our whole party. And I was just like, why did you do that? You know, my brother was, it's because you. And I'm like, they don't even know me. It was because you guys are just not, they're just a good group of guys, you know. My brother came back about 1 year later, this last year, and took them some pastries from Costco or something like that. I don't know. But he said that it just didn't leave his mind. And he's from Chicago. He said, it didn't leave me that what they did that day. They didn't have to do that. We were all upset because of Brother Joe, but you know, that kind of made us feel so much more better. You know, we talked about it for a long time afterwards, but it's just a good group of guys. So
They are.
we appreciate them.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Jesus, I'm still looking for any presentation that is similar to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I got you.
Just
I
saying.
got you. Yeah. So, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jesus Perez. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Greenfield. And our departmental financial snapshot, you'll see a slight increase in our personnel and operations. What's been happening these past couple of years is, I think the big change that we saw in the recreation is that we've been investing more in art programs and fully staffing and operating the Cultural Arts Center. I would say, to me, that's probably the biggest, it's an accomplishment and it's an investment that we've made. Besides that, insurance, right, Paul? Insurance is kind of, so that's a slight increase that you'll see. However, our revenues, you know, that we bring in are also increasing year by year as well. Our departmental key accomplishments this year, we continue to grow in our youth ladies sports programs that we run in the rec department. Softball numbers keep going up, flag football, basketball, all ladies. We don't do co-ed sports. anymore, which was a big demand from our community members. So we're very happy with the success that that's had. Community events like the 4th of July, Easter, Christmas in the Park, they continue to be very well attended. Very well attended events that we oversee in the rec department. Art programs, as I mentioned, that's been growing. We've been running year-round art programs now. This is the first fiscal year that we've been having programs in the winter, spring, summer, and fall. And we're expanding that with this summer. In addition to, I know we heard from First Night Monterey Director Ellen Martin. We had Margarita here as well. So just complementing, the work they do with what we're bringing in, definitely, just growing the arts. Recreation Center and Park funding, working with our city grants team, we secured $6 million more that's going to go towards this project. And we're going to continue to work with the city grants team so that we can get more funding and make that facility, that dream come true. We want to have more work. We want to provide more services, so that's going to really help us out. The other thing, adult program expansion, we're currently doing open gym at the high school through basketball clinics. Took a break for Mother's Day this Sunday. We're doing that Sundays at the high school, but the league is in the works. Senior rec program success. There's a lot of senior programs going on at the community center, and it's wonderful. A lot of them are through the community engagement department. We facilitate those programs. They use the facility, working with other agencies. So it's all of the programs are well attended. Ours that are being, that the rec department's running, and the ones that community engagement is running and overseeing. So we want to continue that success. Our key initiatives for this next fiscal year is to continue the growth and success of senior and youth programming. I'd add adults, but we're working on that. Expand and sustain seasonal art classes at the Cultural Arts Center. Continue the success of city recreation-led events, adult sport clinics and league development. Continue to seek local sponsorship for city youth and event programming. So that's, we have a lot of free programs, that are very well attended, but finding sponsors for that is a goal of ours to help us sustain those programs as well. I think the last one that I don't have on here is just, we do want both of our facilities, the community center and the art center, to, be running at the max capacity for programming. The community center is already pretty much there. The art center, we're still working on, even if it's not us, there's a lot of agencies out there that provide good, community services and programs. And, we want to bring them in. We want to have more services, and that's what our facilities are for. And that is all I have. I think I kept it under 3 minutes. Did I? I don't know. I don't know if someone was timing that, but I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Well, it's not a question, but just a comment.
Yes.
I don't know if this would be under your department or Fabiola's, but maybe something like resume writing, something economics. I'm looking at, people are sending me messages, trade school information, just something like that. I don't know which department that would be, but those are things that would really serve the community.
Yeah.
All these other things are wonderful, but you said you wanted to add on, so.
Yeah. And, there is a lot of different agencies, nonprofits that provide those services, those classes, those programs. We used to have the Gonzalez Adult School at the community center, but because that facilities already has so much going on, we were only able to provide them with 2 days a week. They needed more than that. And thankfully, that program didn't leave Greenfield. It's at the school district now. But there is more agencies that they're always reaching out. Sometimes we don't have the time slots that they want, but we're definitely going to work on, trades, different, techs, the resume, just, a lot of people need that professional, those skills, right, to get into the workforce. So yeah, if there's any agencies out there that are watching the council meeting today, call me and we'll work it out. Yeah. Absolutely. 1-800 rectify. No, but yeah, we're definitely always trying to work. Like I said, it's just space is always limited, and sometimes, you know, those requested time slots, they're already being used by someone else. Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, I appreciate, because I did do my door-to-door knocking, and people were always asking, what can we do? What else is there to do?
Mhm.
And it's nice to be able to give a list of things that are happening, especially with the girls, young ladies sports, youth ladies sports.
Yes.
Right? So that's new. You keep adding to the list, and so that's really good. I do have one request.
Yes.
Maybe we can do it while we're White Aid or Memorial Hall. But they were wondering if, you know, we're never gonna have a theater because cinemas just don't make money here. But these parents want to get away from their kids. That's not how they stated it. That's how they stated it. They kind of want a little mini vacation from their kids.
Mhm.
And so in speaking to them, something that would be, I don't know how expensive or inexpensive it would be, but they're showing me all these dance lessons that they're seeing on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and that's their age group. I mean, there's all kinds of, but that's their age group. These are people who are like in their late 30s and 40s who just want to have a night out. And we have plenty of places for them to go eat, but wouldn't that be nice to have a series of dance lessons of theme, and where couples, whoever they want to be, bring, just show up for the dance lessons. So we're not, even if we have to charge or whatever, but
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so we do have you know, adult like dance classes and fitness classes that we have in the mornings and afternoon. But I was gonna say that I'd love to, you know, have some of those parents reach out, because whenever I get to meet a parent or an adult that knows a certain skill, like whether it's an exercise class or a dance, that could just become a volunteer, like not a volunteer, but like a club, you know, like, hey, we have the facility, you can register to use the space to practice salsa. You said salsa, right? Or
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of different types of dances. I'm not that much of a dancer, so I don't really know. But yeah,
You
maybe
need a
I'll join the
class
club. I'll
too.
probably join the club. I don't know. But that way we can bachata. we can definitely work with groups that, you know, just need a space to do those types of, yeah, absolutely.
Without giving too much away, but it's something that's being worked on.
Yeah.
I don't know about salsa, but I know
Yeah.
some dancing.
Yeah.
I think I spoke with you, an idea would simply be if you brought the families together. Yeah, Patriot Park, you have an amphitheater out there where
Yes.
if the kids go up and try to teach their parents a dance, you know, just a community kind of thing, the kids teaching the parents, that would be hilarious to see the parents try to go up and imitate the kids. But then the same thing that the parents go up and teach their dance styles to their children, you know, instead of it's us and them, but something. I mean, we have facilities like Patriot Park, the amphitheater. We have places where the gazebo, where we can at least gather, even if it starts small, and people know, oh, it's Thursday night.
Yeah, just kind of set just set the tone, right?
Yeah.
These
Dance
facilities,
Jesus.
but if that's
$100.
yeah, I don't know if a lot of people will show up for that. I'm just kidding.
It's all a matter of marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor. Jose from the Greenfield Science Workshop. This is our snapshot for this coming fiscal year. A lot of our initiatives and accomplishments are really the same, 3 out of 5 anyways. We pride ourselves in offering consistent programming from year to year. One of the things that gives me the most joy is when a student visits when they're in elementary, and then they come back when they're in high school, and then they come back as a parent. And I'm able to tell that kid or that adult that our hours are the same and that our days that we're open are the same. So funding, in terms of our accomplishments and initiatives, funding, about 2/3 of our funding come from grants and contracts. That's something that we're always looking to achieve from year to year, because that means that we continue to exist. We also offer free community science 50 weeks a year, 5 days per week. Same thing with bike repair, 50 weeks per year, 2 days per week. This past year, we repair approximately 875 bikes in Greenfield and South Monterey County.
Wow.
And the other thing that we're looking to continue into next year is the access to the outdoors. This past year, we facilitated 27 outdoor trips. In the next fiscal year, we're looking to close that grant and start applying for the next cycle so that we can continue offering outdoor trips to the community. In terms of the school partnerships, this past year, working with school districts in South County, we facilitated over 23,000 science experiences, and we're looking to carry that forward for next year. In terms of what's new for this coming year, it's just trying to find new ways to keep the program sustainable. We're looking at this very specific initiative of distributing science kits or selling science kits to local districts. This summer, we have a contract worth approximately $70,000. In upcoming years, we're looking to double or maybe take it beyond that. And that is the science workshop. I'll take any questions.
You win the prize. Under 3 minutes.
I just want to compliment you on all the trips and all the pictures that you send out. That's always great to see all the kids having a really wonderful time. So great programs that you're running there.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I will be taking the Community Development Department. Next slide, please. Our numbers are very much the same. You see personnel, last year, 573,000, this year, a little under 300,000. We obviously lost our economic development and community development director. With the impending building moratorium really impacting community development, I'm recommending and am not budgeting for a community development director for at least this coming year, maybe for the next 2 years. We will focus on economic activity. And if we need someone to kind of fill that space, we can. So that's the majority of savings in this department here. Operations is about steady at around $500,000. All right, next slide, please. Key departmental accomplishments. We exceeded our RENA allocation for all income categories and continue to do so. The building moratorium has not happened yet, so we could be just getting better and better at that. These building permits and business license numbers are actually from the prior year. They are down. I don't have the numbers with me now, but they are down quite a bit from what it was, probably in anticipation of the building moratorium. We did collect around 300,000 in impact fees again, and the same 2.3 million in cannabis taxes. That's very consistent. Departmental key initiatives would be focusing our efforts on downtown revitalization. That's economic development. Finalizing and adopting our housing element. As you all have heard, we're waiting for the HCD, Housing and Community Development, at the state level to get back to us related to how they want us to modify our already submitted and approved housing element. We need to resubmit it due to us having this building moratorium. Proceeding with the development of the general plan update. That'll start happening more after the building moratorium goes into effect. organizing public workshops for feedback about that general plan update and downtown revitalization, and formation of an advisory committee for the general plan update process. Moving on to economic development, key accomplishments. Number one, because it's a big revenue generator, is stabilizing the regulatory aspects of the cannabis industry. They seem to be happy here, and we're collecting taxes, unlike many other places. We haven't had any modifications to our rules since this started. We, up to this point, have not foregone any taxes, any cannabis taxes in the 6-7 years, however long it's been, that we've been in business with them. They're very, very good citizens. Business retention in an unstable economy. We have seen some losses, but we see them coming back, excuse me, slowly. California Pizza Kitchen is one. We do have the developments up on the north side of UCR. We did finally get an additional $13.6 million in permit valuation for the Avila Farm Worker Housing. That basically is the farm worker housing that went in 7 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Finally got on the rolls, on the tax rolls. So it's valued at 13.6. So we're collecting property tax on that. And then a $17.6 million business permit valuation end of month, June. So that's basically the value of all the business licenses that we've issued up to this end of month, June. And then we've got the current development is the Marriott, which is any day now we should find out something, but it's been that way for the past year, what have you. Santa Lucia Square with the California Gourmet Pizza, Poppy Truck Stop, North ECR, and the Walnut Travel Center on Walnut. Key initiatives for fiscal year 26-27, complete the establishment of the Greenfield Chamber of Commerce. We've seen that take hold, and now it's just a growth opportunity and hopefully a really good future partner in helping to develop downtown, and a real good unified voice to assist the city in helping the business community in Greenfield. We hope to hold a variety of public workshops related to economic development and get the public's input as to what they want to see, and start coordination with the new hotel or hotels related to programs to attract visitors. We actually hope to coordinate with our existing hotels related to putting together hopefully packages, weekend packages that might be in conjunction with city events and things like Quelo Ranch, the Pinnacles, the Wine Trail, and doing some kind of grassroots marketing and economic development to see with little risk put forward, but hopefully put some packages together that are going to get some travelers to have Greenfield as a destination. Okay. All right, that's it. I'll take any questions.
Any questions from council? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members, Mayor, Manuel Ayala, Public Works Manager. Oh, do I change it? Okay,
there you go.
There we go. Sorry, first time. Department Financial Snapshot. Personnel, as you can see, has gone up. It's gonna be probably for insurance, IT, etc. Operations, the same thing. Possibly equipment. There's an increase. Everything goes up. Everything's going up. Department key and accomplishments this year. Complete sidewalk running provides safety and accessible travel paths for pedestrians. Restripping crosswalks and travel lanes. Complete of the Walnut Avenue pedestrian plan sidewalk and north of Walnut Avenue between 3rd and Santa Lucia Square. by the end of this fiscal year. Procurement offered to purchase land from the school district from Walnut Avenue, widening sidewalk infill project. School district is moving through their surplus land process. Complete of the annual Measure X and SBC 1 reporting. Department key initiatives of 2026 and 27. Provide continuous sidewalk grinding. Provide safety and accessible travel paths for pedestrians. Restripe various crosswalks and travel lanes. Complete a pavement repair and rehab project. Reconnecting community grant, evaluate and plan for Walnut overcrossing improvements and potential pedestrian bridge at Apple Avenue. Staff training and retention. Got any questions for me?
I've asked this before, but are we gonna be able to get the Walnut Avenue overcrossing completed by the fiscal year? I mean, we got a couple months.
I mean, maybe depending, everything changes, so, cross your fingers.
Any updates on that you know of, or?
It's just the planning of it aspect, everything changes. I mean, they say it's gonna be done in a couple of days, but it takes extra time of that.
Yeah, once they get out there, it shouldn't take that long. It's a small spot, but
Yeah, but
been a long
it's-
time coming, so I'm ready for that one.
There you go. I'm doing parts too as well. Department of Financial Snapshot, personnel, it's going up a little bit. I'm assuming insurance, et cetera, et cetera. Operations, it's gonna go down a little bit. I think we're pretty stable in financially buying the equipment and et cetera. I'm staffing up a lot of parts. I'm buying them in quantity, so we get a better pricing. Department key and accomplishments, complete critical irrigation repair, ground maintenance, improvements to the park appearances, enhanced playground safety, supporting clean and accessible parks. Repair Patriot Park irrigation wiring for efficiency. Continue maintenance of the parks and ensure safety and beautification. Key initiatives, park improvements to Vintage Park, including new basketball courts and backboards, fencing, trash cans, and park signs. Continue maintenance efforts, including lawn and mowing, irrigations, repair, apply sand to spots, fields for the leveling, etc. Staff training and retention. Any questions?
I have one question. Who's responsible for the signage around the Little League field?
That would be me.
Because they're kind of faded out, especially ones that say have fun and stop yelling at the umpires and remember everybody volunteers and no coaching from the fans. I have fun with those parents.
Yeah.
But I said, I really don't want to go to jail, lady, so please read the sign, but it is faded. And I said, and it says have fun. So maybe we start with have fun and don't yell. I remember these are
You
volunteers.
still have to follow those rules, so.
Yeah.
Not if you can't see them.
Actually, they were, somebody found them for me. They're faded out and they're by where the speakers are, the person who's announcing.
Okay.
They're right next to it, but they are small and faded out. But perhaps we can spread them out a little bit more frequently and something that encourages the parents to stop shaming the children.
You know what?
No, your 3 minutes is up.
You know what? If it's parks, yes.
Programming.
It's programming.
So what's going on with those signs? I would say that that's actually the Little League's responsibility to replace because it's the programming that they're doing at that park. So that wouldn't necessarily be our staff right now because.
I'm sorry. Can we just ask you to speak from the podium just so that the people on Zoom can hear
That's
your
true.
comments?
So, again, this is a.
Thank you.
All right, is this microphone up? I'll just talk really loud.
You're on.
So again, Jesus Parks and Rec Director, so just to help answer that question, I believe that that is the Little League's responsibility to replace and do upkeep on those signs because those are their, it's the program that they're running at the park. And, you know, I don't know how many, what their, you know, how they replace those signs. But I haven't seen them. I didn't know they're fading, but I would say like what we're responsible for is more of like signs like the dog park signs on leash, keeping them out fields, the parking safety stuff like that. So I wouldn't say that's our responsibility. Yeah, I would say that's Little League needs to update their signs. Yeah.
Thank you. You got me on the signs. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Here we go, financial snapshot, personnel. This is gonna be for the facilities daycare. We've been not budgeting for that building, but at this point, that building needs some work. It's maintained right now by an agency that does a daycare, but at this moment, it needs a roof. So we're budgeting an amount, what's gonna
For the roof?
cost to repair it.
Okay.
Operations, it's going up too. So like I said, we have to do maintenance on it, all the whole structure around it. So it's going up from 236 to 309. Construction and generator hardening project, FEMA grant funded for the major of the lift station, fire department, water department. Fire department improvements, install a new shower at the facility, it's in the works. Install an HVAC in the police department and evidence container. That's been already assigned. This is probably from last year. Paid Patriot Park restroom facility. Yeah, we still got to do some work there. Department key initiatives for fiscal 2026 and 27. Actively seeking implement methods to reduce electricity usage for all facilities. Depending on funding, daycare for roof, culture arts for HVAC system. We need a new HVAC system in one of the areas. Install a gate at the rear parking lot of City Hall. We don't have one here. I know we've tried, but just the budgeting has an impact on that. Purchase and install a new modular office at the courtyard to be split with enterprise funds. That's gonna go to the courtyard. Any questions on that? Okay. Moving on to Public Works fleet. So you see a nice picture of an aerial truck.
Like one of those, right?
all we have is a picture?
Yeah, you got a picture, but you got some wording to it. Financial snapshot. Personnel 183. It's gone down. Operations from 236 to 269. It goes up. It depends on the equipment because there's times that we have to outsource it, get it repaired. Key accomplishments: provide continuous preventive maintenance for all city fleet, replace truck 2332 water division. At the moment, it's broken down, and we're gonna spend more money than what it's valued. So that's one. Replace truck 7928 utility manager truck. That truck has a lot of miles, so it's only a matter of time. Either something goes bad with it, and we rather try to
get it before it's gone.
Yes, get it before it's gone, or put it to the surplus before it really breaks down and we can't get nothing to it. Purchase a sand spreader. That's already been accomplished. This is gonna be from last year. Provide continued preventive maintenance for all city vehicles. Replace adequate fleet online for public auction. And that was the auction that I was talking about, that we have to put it on Gov Deals. Just all the equipment that we have at the yard. There's a lot of equipment there that's no longer in use. It's either broken down. Replace 2 passenger trucks, 7919 and 7923. Those are other trucks with high mileage. The value on them is just to repair them. It costs us more money than anything. Replace the bucket truck. It's out of service. We have a bucket truck right now. So that bucket truck is a 2009. It's a diesel, it's standard. It's just deteriorating. We had an inspection recently and it didn't pass. So the vendors are from out of state or Sacramento, so that means we would probably have to take it down there and get it repaired, or they would have to come over here and fix it. But some of the parts, we don't even know if they still make the parts. We've been calling for quotes and we haven't got anything back. But this is a very essential piece of equipment because we put the banners, we put the flags up, we cut the trees down. It's a big part of our operation. To be split with enterprise accounts. So that's what we're trying to evaluate and see what we can do. Yeah. Replace the street sweeper. Our street sweeper is out of compliance too. It's probably from the 90s. It's not compliance. But we need one because there's just a lot of traffic that goes through town, trucks, mud, etc. I could give you an example on one. There's always the ag fields that are working through the mud and we can't do much. Replace the sewer jetter truck, 7720. Not in compliance either. We've been using it. It's not in compliance. We use it for emergencies. But that truck leaks more water than anything. I mean, we have to use it. We use it. That's the only resource that we have at the moment. Any questions? Nope. No? Okay. Sorry, I went more than 3 minutes.
Good evening, council, mayor.
Good evening.
To see. Tiffany Twisman talked about water and wastewater. I have to comment on Manuel's last slide. We desperately need a sewer truck. Just to acknowledge that.
Is that the jetter that he was
The
talking
jetter
about?
truck you're talking
Yes,
about?
the jetter truck.
Okay.
It does leak more water than I think it pushes into the sewer, so. But again, it's what we use. So financial snapshot, current year, the estimated budget has gone up for personnel. I know that we've upped personnel in our utility department because we really need it. We are also cross-training between water and wastewater so that we can help each other out, not leave one branch depleted. Operations it looks like it's gone down for the estimated budget for next year. One thing that I want to point out is water and wastewater repairs and equipment are very costly, and sometimes the tools to do the job. And one thing that I stress is that we have to have the proper PPE and the proper tools to do the job. Because I'd rather have you all not know that there was a main break and nobody's calling you, and we have the tools and the material to fix it and nobody knows about it, rather than have everybody calling and saying, there's a problem here. So our key accomplishments this year in the water department, they've completed, I'm going to say, over 65 water leaks and repairs throughout the city. We have a gentleman on staff now that also is pretty good at concrete work, so they're able to repair the concrete that they've had to take out in some of these leaks. Completed procurement of property for the new water well supply on 14th and Cherry. And I know there's a lot more than this, but I'll leave it there for now. Initiatives for the 2026 and 27. Water tank improvements. We've had some vandalism at the corporate yard water tank. People were shooting at it. Needs some repairs. The tank is intact, but it needs recoating. Every 3 to 5 years, tanks should be inspected, drained, and recoated. That's on something we're working on this year to get rolling. Evaluation of existing wells and the design of a new well. We continue repairing leaks and fire hydrant repairs. We're going to start with the valve mapping and exercising program this year. A lot of times we go to a valve, it hasn't been exercised in some time, so we're trying to put into place an annual so many valves throughout the city so that we can keep everything running. Complete past due and current water audits. We're working on that. Those are very important. Also, the cross connection control program that has been approved and is being implemented. That's a really big portion of, it's also regulatory, so we need to get that done. And like I said, procuring parts and to have in stock so that when something goes down, we can buy them. A lot of these parts also come from distances and they get made, so they can take 16 to 18 weeks for some of them, and you don't have time to wait for that. So. Any questions?
Yeah, when you get those hydrants, checking them and spraying, we should have a party, like a little street party for the kids. Come on. We did it in New York and in Chicago. Wow.
Yeah, well, this summer it might get hot enough.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Wastewater. So that personnel budget has gone up a bit, and operations looks like it's come down. Hopefully this is where we stay. The accomplishments, this is a little, so the rate study, adoption of the rate study and implementation of that allowed funding to be secured. And we have now a funding agreement with the state for our new wastewater facility, which is extremely exciting. And we're working on 100% design plans at this time and hope to have them done before this fiscal year is over. We've also had a request for qualifications for a CM for the wastewater project, and that will be done this fiscal year. The completion of this 4-year CCTV project has given us an overview of what needs to be repaired, and that will allow us to, has allowed us to plan for next year financing to repair. We think we're going to try and have some, what's it called, lining done on them. Some of the pipes can be lined to extend their life rather than replacing them. So we're looking at those options to do that. Yes.
That's a program where we're scoping all the lines,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. And I think it's complete now. Alejandra's been working on that for quite some time. So, and we have some areas identified that need to be addressed immediately, and then other areas that we can plan for future lighting. So those are things that we're working on, emergency repairs of the wastewater treatment plant. We have, the water board has agreed to allow us to extend our spray fields as a flood lane behind our spray fields. So we built those, and that's helping us immensely. We're getting RABs emptied. We're preparing essentially for next winter, so that we can make it through next winter. So, and I have to say, the guys, this team is really doing a great job. They're doing everything they can to move water, and so I'm really happy with that. When I first got here, we didn't have a recirculation pump. We were able to get a recirc pump and get that installed. And then the urban water management plan update started. And we got the basis of design report for the Tyler lift station. So hopefully that happens. Then we can all sleep at night. Our fog program has been implemented and is going well, actually. We've done a lot of fog inspections and people are really receptive to it. So that's been really positive.
I think you missed the line. hired a new utility division manager, Tiffany Twisselman. She is now the CPO of the WWPP.
Okay, onward. So for next fiscal year, we intend to construct that treatment plant, continue with the rehabilitation of the remaining RIBs prior to winter, which I think we're gonna actually make it. That's really an awesome a booster for me. Sewer main upgrades and replacements. These are some of the projects that were identified by the CCTV camera. So there are several different areas that we're going to work on. Staff training and retention. We have a really good group of people and we'd like to keep them. And as I said, we're cross-training and trying to take advantage of any training we can find that's cost-effective or free and utilize that to keep our knowledge and professionalism up. We also, again, the FOG program continuation with restaurant inspections and public outreach. We have a lot of outreach materials. Our director has given to different, I think, community development or the rec department to hand out to kids and keep the outreach going so people are aware. Don't put this stuff down the sink and all that good stuff. So, anybody have any questions?
We're good.
Thank you.
Let's take a 10-minute break. We got about 3 or 4 more sections here. So let's go ahead and take a couple, take a 10-minute break, please. Finance.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Evelyn Mullen, Assistant Administrative Services Director. For the Finance Department, I must say that our spending remains stable and within expected levels. As you can see, for the current fiscal year, personal expenditure has gone down a little bit, reflecting staffing changes, as well as the operational cost. And that is due to a cost-saving measure that we implemented during the year. Looking ahead to fiscal year 26-27, we anticipate personnel costs at 427,000 and operations at 202,000 as we prepare for the upcoming departmental needs. This fiscal year, Finance Department completed several major initiatives that strengthen internal controls, improve efficiency, and enhance transparency. We have implemented citywide credit card policy where we introduced cardholder verification monthly statement form, and that has really improved the efficiency and the timeliness of payments. And as a result, we secure a quarterly rebate, the city has secured quarterly rebate revenue. We also implemented electronic vendor payments by transitioning our vendors from paper checks to ACH payments. We have completed fiscal year 2024 financial audit and single audit, and the city has received unmodified opinion, no material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, or compliance findings. We have also submitted all required annual reports on time. Annual street report, Measure X compliance audit, city financial transactions report. We are all on target, I would say.
Excellent.
We have enhanced delinquent account collections, where we strengthened follow-up and increased recovery of our outstanding balances, particularly our utility billings. We have also implemented new sewer rates effective this year, where we have updated our billing system to reflect the new rates, and we have ensured a smooth customer transition. I also want to add that we have also developed and adopted the fraud, waste, and abuse policy, which strengthened transparency and compliance. For fiscal year 26-27, our focus is on strengthening financial stewardship and improving service to both city departments and the community. So we will provide short practical training sessions for our department heads. We will work with all city departments to ensure that actual spending does not exceed city council approved appropriations. We will closely monitor the 26-27 budget so that we can present timely media reviews to the city council. We will also explore adding online payment portals for permits, business licenses, basically for all non-utility payments to reduce walk-in traffic. We will also enhance internal control and policy compliance. Basically, this is just to update any policies that we have that have not been updated. We will also strengthen staff development and cross-training. And not on the list, I will also want to add that we will also improve delinquent account follow-up just to build up on what we have already started the past 2 years. And at the same time, we will explore technology solutions, probably texting our customers if there's any outstanding bills or any, let's say, disconnect, water shut off. And at the same time, we will improve transparency and public communication. This is to enhance the clarity and usability of financial information shared with the community. Probably we're planning on providing kind of like a dashboard, financial dashboard on our website on a quarterly basis. So overall, Finance Department remains committed to responsible financial management and continuous improvement. Thank you. That's all from me. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that.
Any questions?
Yeah, who trained you to speak in public? That's awesome. I love that you are well-informed, you know your material, you present it, and you present it with such confidence that I'm like reassured this must be good.
We're dealing with numbers. So
We're projecting perfectly.
You did great. You did great.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is the one I've been waiting for.
Oh, no. Good evening, City Council and Mayor. Let's see if I can do this under 30 seconds. Our departmental financial snapshot for human resources and risk management, pretty consistent through the last fiscal year, this fiscal year, and moving into the next. Not much of a change. Operations, of course, that covers property insurance, cyber insurance, crime insurance, workers' compensation, liability. Am I leaving one out? I can't remember. I think I got them all.
Nothing significant. That's
Okay.
good coverage.
So, and that's allocated depending on which department is, creating that expense and liability. Our key accomplishments for this year, our insurance requirements for fiscal year 26-27 are completed. We are normally ahead of time. We usually try to be done by May 1st. Our staff compliance for required education for cybersecurity. So our staff is at 100% compliance. Workers' compensation claims have come down 7% from last fiscal year. And recruitment for Public Works Maintenance Worker 1 and Public Works Office Technician. We're in the process of filling those positions. And we finally filled the custodial technician last October. So happy about that. Key initiatives for next fiscal year, of course, working on staff retention, sustain an active committee for our injury and illness prevention plan, coordinate with PD on active shooter training, which was on that list last year, work on providing a positive connection with staff and provide improved employee training through IRMA and other online platforms that we have available to us. Any questions?
Looked pretty even to what it was before. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Eduardo Espinosa, IT admin. We're gonna go over the budget for IT. In the financial snapshot, you can see that there was an increase in our operations. The increase is mainly due to new security cameras and software tools for our police department. Move on to our department key accomplishments for this year. We supported department growth and goals, improved cybersecurity measures, upgraded the equipment in chambers, and also we upgraded all the computers to Windows 11 to comply with new regulations from the DOJ. We also joined the Central Coast IT Leadership. This is a group of cities that we meet every month and go over information and go over experiences and kind of we try to help each other. The key initiatives for next year, we're going to continue supporting the department with their growth and helping to be more efficient. Support our police department with their technologies needs and try to reduce the cost of IT throughout the we're also going to be working on transitioning software from our servers to the cloud to make it more efficient and more secure. And we're going to continue working on our cybersecurity and improve training and awareness with our users. And we're also going to keep working on the Central Coast IT leadership and try to benefit from that group more. If you have any questions.
If I
Just keep
could-
up the good work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to clarify, can you go back to the, your
The,
financial
financial-
snapshot? Right, so you see his big operational increase, and he explained it has a lot to do with PD, not throwing PD under the bus, I get it. I mean, I think we're a lot safer because of these things. But IT, HR, human resources, risk management, those are all internal funds that we allocate out to the other departments, so that we get a better picture of what those departments actually cost us. So you think, because what's been sticking in my head is that big jump in the PD in their expenses. Okay, a lot of it is this. It's the allocation of the IT into the PD department, which we'll look at that next Thursday. Look at it as much depth as you want. But the point is this isn't an additional huge jump. It's really just the same jump. It's just being reflected in two different places.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your patience for that whole thing. Hope it was informative.
A lot of information.
Yeah.
A lot to digest. So that completes the departmental budget plan at this stage, right? All right. We will move on to K1, discussion regarding the recreational vehicle boat trailer parking pilot program. Staff report, please.
The staff report.
The staff report before you really is for city council's discussion on the pilot vehicle program that was enacted about a year and a half ago, September of 2024. From the PD, we've had pretty good results from it, mostly positive. We do have some residents that are happy that they can park their trailers in their driveways out off the street. That also allows for the vehicles to park on the street. There has been some negative as well. Some residents are concerned about the visual aspect of it and the home prices of having a trailer in the driveway, visibility. But overall, it has been positive. And I know we do have some residents here that may have an opinion as to whether they want a trailer to be able to park on the driveway or not. But for the most part, it has been positive. So really, it's what the city council, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to change the ordinance, leave it the same, modify it? What have you heard from your residents, your constituents in your areas, and how do they feel about that? And how will that guide the direction that the city council wants to take with this pilot program?
Okay. I will open it up for public comments on K1.
Okay, my name is Jose Antonio Villarreal. I've been a resident of here Greenfield for over 40-something years. And we have a trailer inside my property. It's not bothering anybody. It's there, we clean it, around it, we wash it once in a while. And it's in good shape. We also have a car in front of our driveway in the sidewalk, in the street. And we clean it, we move it, it has insurance, it has the license for updated, everything. It's runnable. And I don't see no problem with it. I was gonna say something else, but you know what? After I heard the first gentleman about the e-bikes and no helmet, and then my sister is saying about the dog leash, I think those things are more important than this. I mean, if somebody doesn't like the trailer in my property, they're not gonna like it if I put it in front of her street. So it's a choice they gotta make. Besides, if it's in my property, it's in my property. I mean, that's the way I look at it, you know? I mean, I'm not gonna put something in front of my property that's damaged, broken windows, flat tires, or anything like that, you know? There might be people that do that, but then you can deal with that, you know? Those are individual basis. But to me, right now, after hearing about the dog leash and about the e-bikes, which is true, I've seen them, And the dogs, actually, the dogs too, the owners are not picking up after their dogs. They're leaving everything everywhere. And so I don't know what can be done about it. And there's a lot of bigger problems than this one. I know that this is important, you know, but first take care of these ones, which to me is priority. Safety, it's priority. So yes, I understand these ones, and I understand you want to keep the city beautiful, but beauty is depending on the eye of the beholder, you know. I mean, as long as I have my property updated and the way it's supposed to be, I think I'm okay. Somebody else doesn't like it, well, I'm sorry about it, you know, let me go to their house. I'm pretty sure I'll find something I don't like too. So anyway, that's.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, hello again. Yes, I'm one of those people, I think I was the one who consistently came to speak about that because it was a big problem in front of my house. It is no longer a problem, but maybe because the neighbors moved. But anyway, I agree that, you know, if those vehicles are, or the RVs are in the, you know, in a proper place in the yard of the owner, et cetera, the way that it's set there, you know, with the conditions there, then that's not the problem. The problem is when they are on the street and they're so big, and then when you're backing out and you can't even see who's coming. And now with, you know, the kids on the scooters just zipping, you might not even have a chance to brake because they're coming so fast and you might not see them. So anyway, I support if it's been working. The only thing that I remember that did concern me when I was coming to the meetings is there was some miscommunication or different understanding of what it meant to move a vehicle or a RV, whatever, after 3 days. Because I think the police department understood that as, oh, they could just move it like back and forth, because that's what my neighbors were doing. And, but I think, I don't know if it needs to be clear that it's not just you move the vehicle a few inches, you know, to the front and then you move it back. It literally means you've got to move it and hopefully to another area, then bring it back, if that's what you're going to do. So anyway, that would be my concern about the movement. Where is that vehicle? Is it going to be there again just because they moved it a few inches? You know, so I don't know if that's very clear in what's there now. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Not to contradict anybody, but if you move your car to somebody else's house, they're gonna call the police because they see a strange car in front of their house. And if you leave it there for 3 days, only God knows what's gonna happen. Because it has happened to me. I have moved my car to another place, and when I went, the tires were flat. So you create one problem after another and after another, and you don't solve nothing at the end of the day. So I think in my purse, leave it like it is, move your car. I know not everybody likes it, but I wouldn't like to see somebody else's car parked in front of my house. Because what's gonna happen? He moves his car, the wife is gonna bring their car and park it in front of my house too. And then I'm never gonna have my parking space again. So that's just something to consider.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Not, I'll bring it back to council for questions, comments.
I want to review, or have review with me. It's 3 days they can stay currently. That's the rule, right?
Yes, 72 hours.
And I would like clarification on the moving. Is it just a few inches? Is it around the block? Is it, and then they can come back, or is it they have to keep going around the block?
It is not clear. And that
It's
would
not
be
clear.
something that city council in an ordinance can clarify how far should it be moved.
And that we're talking about street parking, they have to move every 3 days or 72 hours, but not what we've done with suspending that,
Right,
right?
this
Where
is-
that they can park on their own property now.
Yeah, that's a
Correct.
separate issue.
Right.
Yeah.
I have no problem with people parking on their own property as long as it's not blocking the sidewalk and then, and it's a cemented area, like if that's the rule, that's where you can park. That's your property, you're paying taxes for it, you can park. And I do also agree, as long as it's not unsightly, like a broken down boat with, you know, it's very obvious that boat is not gonna float. Which I've seen. I think it's your property and as long as it's, registered and it's kept nicely and it doesn't look trashy for the neighborhood. I have no problem with people parking on their own private park, and as long as it's not blocking the sidewalk.
I think there was a concern that has come up in the past, and I think it was Councilwoman Ortiz about it not becoming like a health and safety issue, right? Like with people that maybe have garbage that they're loading or that's actually their business where they do like dump
Trash haul,
runs and
yeah.
things like that. Where maybe to solve that issue, then we look at something surrounding an ordinance about actually addressing that problem that it creates. Because it does seem that since we suspended the, prohibiting people from driving on their own property, I don't know, because we don't get the calls, but maybe you could share with us, like, are you guys hearing less complaints, less kind of unrest from people about recreational vehicles blocking their, to nobody's street parking, but blocking street parking or staying on the street too long? It seems like it has alleviated some of those issues.
It has. It has been a net positive.
So I would say we focus on.
I would agree with you. I think you're getting more vehicles off the streets, more trailers off the streets. They're on their own property. I think as long, like you say, as long as it's not unsightly and it's maintained, I think we maybe look into, I would think we should go ahead and do this on a permanent basis. Maybe with some clarification on the moving the vehicles.
Speaking for in the district that I'm in right now, my issue was with the trailers being parked. That there was one specifically that was on blocks. I don't like that because you never know, somebody could bump it, there could be a child. I mean, freak accidents happen all the time. So there has to be safety. I don't have a problem with people parking them, as long as they're aesthetically okay, and not broken down. For an example, I have a neighbor they've like taken all their cars. They're coming and pulling their cars out because they do look bad. And I tell them, well, you moved the car in 2 years, it doesn't even have tags. Of course, they're gonna come and they're gonna take it, because it looks bad. But if it doesn't and they're parking on their property, I'll have a problem. But I do notice that I'm not quite sure that 72 hours is being enforced. And that gives me, that causes a lot of concern for me. I think that really needs to be enforced. We need to, it's okay with warning people, but when all we're doing is warning, we're never gonna get anywhere. And so it needs to be enforced, the 72 hours. The other thing I noticed that, especially on one street over here, when you're driving on the freeway, you see a lot of RVs in the backyard, which again, I don't have a problem with people parking, but there's people living in the RVs. What are we gonna do about that? Is there anything we can do about that?
That gets complicated because now we're entering somebody's property to inspect. We need an inspection warrant for that, which means we need probable cause. And just somebody thinking that something's happening isn't enough. We need something that's articulable that we can state to a judge that will give us permission to enter somebody's property to do. It's a little complicated. Yes, it's possible. And no, we haven't done those recently. We do make contact with the owners, inform them what's going on, and most of the time we do get compliance. Sometimes we have to come back a few times, and sometimes we just stop answering the door. And unfortunately, there's a point where there's nothing we can do if we don't have more information, more to build to the probable cause level.
I don't have a problem with it either, but I just want to make sure that if we're going to put 72 hours, that it's enforced.
Yes, understood.
And we should be clear about movement.
What that means.
Yeah.
Because
Like, where's it gonna go?
Is it just 3 inches, or is it gonna go to my other neighbor who's gonna get mad at me, and then I'm bringing it back? I mean, what do they call that, leapfrogging?
Yes. And like gentlemen just did say, you are creating an issue. Okay, well, you need to move at least a block. Well, now these neighbors are
You're
gonna
just
be
making
upset
it
with that and it's back and forth.
Somebody else's
Someone else's
problem.
issue.
Yeah.
Somebody else's problem.
And so where did the 72-hour, is that just in general throughout the state or?
That is a pretty standard time frame for movement of vehicles throughout the state. That there are differences, there are variances, but 72 hours seems to be a standard that many cities have adopted.
I'm good with that too. Any clarification on the movement?
So on this, how would we propose? Because I feel like it's a kind of multi-pronged thing happening here. Like, do we want to keep this as a permit or make this a permanent change to the ordinance?
That's what I
and
would
then
suggest. Yeah.
Clarify the language as well, and that would be a future thing, we clarify the language? Or is that something we're doing tonight? Just because I think all of us are also unclear to what that language would then be.
Yeah, we're here tonight to give direction to staff
Mhm.
as to which way we want to go. So,
Yeah, I think the changes, if you wanted to permanently adopt the changes that are in the pilot program, those are relatively easy changes to the municipal code. And then with respect to the 72 hours, that's already in your code. It's just not clear how much movement is required. So that would be relatively also easy to clarify. I think we need some direction, or maybe we can look at what other cities do in terms of
maybe do some
how they
research. and bring
define
it back.
that. And then there is already language in the code regarding inoperable vehicles, and that includes RVs and trailers. So if you're going to have an inoperable vehicle on your property, it does have to be in an enclosed area, so like in a garage, in a structure. So that it also is already in the code. So
Okay.
I think to make the changes permanent that are in the pilot program is probably relatively simple.
Okay. So we have enough?
I think so.
All right.
Yes.
Yes. Move
Very
on
good.
to e-bike, yes.
All right, we'll move on to K2, discussion on city events, staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Aaron Chavez, Assistant to the CM. Hoping to give you a brief presentation, just discussing city events, and hopefully it opens up a dialogue that results in a direction that you can give us. Hear me okay? Throughout the year, city staff, with partnership with various nonprofits and third-party organizers, have events such as the city anniversary, 4th of July, food truck nights, 9/11 memorial, harvest festival, a Halloween competition, Christmas at the park, market at the gazebo, Easter at the park. Today, we want to focus on some of our biggest events, those being the Harvest Festival, which is an annual festival that we have here, our 4th of July celebration down at Patriot Park, and the market at the gazebo, which is a market that's hosted on a season basis. We also want to give you a little bit of history. The Harvest Festival first started off as the Broccoli Festival. The Broccoli Festival was held for 14 years over at Oak Park. It was primarily hosted by nonprofits and very popular with a lot of community involvement. 14 years, and it was basically the same committee that hosted this festival for a majority of that time. Eventually, the committee got a little burnt out and it became tiresome and difficult to continue on and host every year. The last ever edition of the Broccoli Festival was in 1998. Soon after, in the year 2000, the Harvest Festival started. We moved over the Broccoli Festival from Oak Park down to downtown Greenfield. I'm told that the first years were primarily city staff driven. People would have certain categories and aspects of the Harvest Festival to staff and to organize, really. Little by little, it's slowly grown to the festival we all know and love today. The 4th of July is a firework and veteran recognition that we have over at Patriot Park. Began in the early 2000s and was led by community group and city leaders. In 2016, First Night Monterey took over the celebration. They had that celebration until 2022. More recently, we had another nonprofit help us, Alegria Music, with the help of the Recreation Department, host that same fireworks show. That event consists of live bands, food vendors, and that infamous fireworks show. With these events, really we have some key goals in mind. With the Harvest Festival, it's always been to raise the bar every year and try to get better and better, and also making it a little bit more harvesty. The 4th of July celebration, we've always wanted to make it an accessible, free, fun event and continue to celebrate in a safe manner. The market at the gazebo has always been to create a local market for small businesses and give them a little bit of visibility, something of a farmer's market experience for our community members. We've gotten to the point where our events have grown, and sometimes that comes with some growing pains. It has been the cost to city and vendors. With rising prices and wanting to raise that bar, it comes expenses. And little by little, we've done what we can to mitigate those costs and keep it somewhat reasonable to city and vendors, while also making it free events to our community members. Staff burnouts. Our staff does an amazing job at playing a role in organizing these events. But however, they do this while they handle their city responsibilities. And as you could tell, we do events throughout the year. It is a lot to manage, and our staff has done great up to this point. Keeping vendors and other providers satisfied goes back to that same point, really, that we want to make it accessible to them to be able to come in every year and also listen to their feedback on how we can improve year after year. Prioritizing greenfield vendors. What we like to do is we like to have diverse vendors while also providing prioritization for greenfield vendors. And sometimes they do conflict because we want to go out and find different vendors that offer products that may not be here in town. You know, something that's a little more unique, or something that you don't hear every day, and they sometimes do come at crossroads. I also want to go over a little bit about how to become a vendor. Step one here is to acquire a business license at City Hall. According to the municipal code, all businesses, trades, professions, callings, and occupations are required to obtain a license here. Step two is contact the event organizer to inquire about booth space. Each of those events that we just talked about has an event organizer, albeit a nonprofit, a third party, or a city-appointed organizer. There is somebody that you can go ahead and contact to inquire about booth space. Step three, pay those associated fees. Each different event has different set prices for those booths. And something that we have considered is having the city be somebody that acts as a bridge, collecting those booth fees for city organized events and hired organizers. Something that also has come up is occasional seller. For an occasional seller, really what we saw, the only one being an occasional seller or having an argument for being an occasional seller is retail sellers. And there's two things that a retail seller needs to obtain to sell here within the city of Greenfield. That being the seller's permit from the Tax Equalization Board and a Greenfield business license. Two independent licensing points here. The Tax Equalization Board classifies occasional sellers as somebody who sells twice out of the year their own household unwanted goods. Anything over the 2 times out of the year that they want to sell, let's say 3 or 4, they would have to go out and get the seller's permit. Greenfield business license is different. It's here something that is required to conduct business. According to the municipal code, if exempt by virtue of the Constitution or applicable statuses of the United States or of the state of California from the payment to municipal corporations of such taxes are the only ones that are exempt from paying the associated fees for a business license. Really, although what we interpret from this is if there is an applicable law that states that you don't have to pay municipal taxes, submit a verified statement with your business license application to the city clerk's office, and we will analyze and see if you do qualify to be exempt from those fees.
Is that like a nonprofit type thing?
Not necessarily. It's more really if there is something that states by the Constitution, the federal government or the state government that says that municipal taxes are not applicable to you, then, go ahead and submit where it says that, and we'll analyze it and make sure that that's true.
One example is there is a state law that says that certain military veterans doing certain types of businesses don't have to pay a local business tax. But it's just one example.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, but sometimes it could overlap. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a nonprofit, but there is nonprofits that may, like if they are a veteran-led nonprofit. To conclude here, really what city staff is looking for is guidance on a priority list when it comes to city-hosted and sponsored events. I have two questions here that really are to start that conversation. What should city events represent for the community, city council, or city staff? I have sub-questions here. What level of financial sponsorship should the city provide for events? Should the city prioritize cost effectiveness or competitive high impact events? What are our standards and priorities that can guide vendor participation? And the other question, should these events be city managed, slowly transition towards community-led models, or utilize contracted event organizers? And really, these two are in hopes to get a philosophy, because I know that there will be questions that come up later on, but at least if we have a philosophy of what we're trying to do, we have a direction of how to approach these decisions. And with that, I turn it over to you folks.
Great. I'll take public comments on this item.
Yes, I think one of the question addresses image, or what do we want these events to say about who we are as Greenfield, a Greenfield community? I invited some people to come to the Harvest Festival, and then they were like, harvest? Where's the harvest? Where are the, what is grown around Greenfield? What's grown around Greenfield, right? Because what we saw is a lot of food trucks, a lot of vendors, clothing, different things. So, the broccoli festival, it was clear, right? That's part of who we are, a big part of who we are, the broccoli festival. But yeah, so I don't know how harvest is being defined, but at least the people that I invited, they walked away with, I don't know what was harvesty about that, right? So if it's just gonna be an event where vendors get to come, I don't know. So what are our events saying about who we are as a community? And then the other, I don't know if this is part of it, but I think they're kind of weekly, every Saturday, the events that are over there across the church. Is that the gazebo?
Market at the gazebo. Market.
Yeah, I stay away because the traffic is terrible, but also a few times I felt like it was not safe, because even the fire hydrant that's there, it's all covered up. It's like if there was a fire or something, I don't want to be caught there, because how do you get to even the fire hydrant? I passed by there, I'm like, oh, the fire hydrant is all surrounded by boxes and things like that. So I wondered about safety also. And then when food vendors do have their food, I don't want to say that for sure I got sick because some of the vendors have things that should be refrigerated, but they're left on the open for hours. I did get sick, but I can't say it was at one of those, but now I just avoid it, especially if I see that food's left out that should be refrigerated. So anyway, those are some concerns. Want to support events, right? but things to consider. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for questions, comments. I did have a couple things. With the events, I would love to see some budget numbers and how many people were actually serving on the various events. Just so we know what it's costing the city, because sometimes stuff can be surprising on how much it actually does cost. For example, the 4th of July or in the Harvest Festival, those are big ticket items. So if you get budgets, I'm glad to see in here the idea of having somebody from the city helping out with the collections on some of the events, on some of the booth fees and things like that. And I think that's a good idea to kind of regulate that a little closer.
Mayor, I'm not sure if this hand was up for this
Um,
item or not.
It was not there before, but I can actually, no, that's fine. If Ellen wants to talk, that's fine. Gives, yeah.
Ellen Martin.
Oh, I'm sorry. I might have raised my hand a little bit too late, Mayor. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead, Ellen.
You know, I just want to say, as someone who produces events around the county and produced the Harvest Festival for 10 years, that I believe strongly in cities having community events and art programs, because they're bringing the people together, all generations, cultures, neighborhoods, and that helps build community pride and creates positive experiences, hopefully, and for the youth and families. And I think it strengthens communities and the residents, and especially in these very difficult times that we live in, gathering together and celebrating our cultures, our neighbors, I just feel is really important. And I would hate to see the Harvest Festival, which is the 3rd Sunday in October, go away. You know, the 4th of July isn't a huge event, but it is an event that's honoring the 4th, and it has the fireworks, which is probably the biggest amount of money that it takes. But doing any event anywhere in any city, you have to have the support of the city, because you need that infrastructure. And what does that mean? Fire, police, public works, and then some other departments possibly. So I just hope that you continue to do the Harvest Festival and, you know, bring out music and art and those vendors that really want to participate, and showcase the downtown businesses also. So I want to say, I don't live in Greenfield, but, you know, I did do the Harvest Festival 10 years only because the city was going to stop doing it. And I felt it was so important to have that connection. And when I brought it back to my board, they said, you said you do what? Where are you going to get that money? Well, then through grants, you know, for a year of planning. So whatever the city can do, I hope that they'll keep, you know, the tree lighting and the Harvest Festival and the 4th. And I think that having the farmers market at the gazebo is really a positive thing too. And that's what other cities do, you know, within the county. They all have their own farmers markets and a signature event. And that's what I think the Harvest Festival is, a signature event of the city of Greenfield, showcasing the beautiful cultures and people of the city. So thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you, Ellen.
I'll go next. So I have a lot of thoughts on this. Personally, I don't think that the city should be taking on all these events. I like that the city does the anniversary. That's fine. The 4th of July, I think, should be a city event. 9/11 Memorial. And I would say probably the Christmas in the Park, because it does take a lot of the city effort to put that event on. Everything else, I think, possibly, you know, that we should have somebody else take it over. I'm all for having nonprofits take on these events if we could get them organized. A lot of the money, I'm not exactly sure if the person who does the Harvest Festival now keeps the money from the vendor booths. I'm guessing he does. I don't know. We've never really been told. But if nonprofits were to be able to organize the Harvest Festival with somebody at the top directing us, that money that comes from the booths could be split between the nonprofits here in our community. Our nonprofits here, they struggle to earn money. Right now, you can see a lot of Facebook and Instagram posts regarding the Sober Grad. They're short of funds. And if they were to get involved with things like this, if we could get them organized, that would relieve a lot of our nonprofits and they'd be able to make some money. I like the idea of having the city collect funds from now on, and the city would be able to distribute those. I think that would prevent a lot of people from, if we had a set price on the booth rentals, things like that. But I really do think that nonprofits need to take over some of these events, but the thing is getting them organized. A lot of people say, because we don't have the help, we don't have the volunteers, but a perfect example is we do the Day of Thanks. We have 100 volunteers. So that's not true. We have a lot of volunteers. And I think we really need to focus more on our youth, because for the Day of Thanks, it's the youth that is the backbone of our event. And I think, and these kids are ready to step up. They're willing to help. They go do it for the community hours. They do it for fun. They do it for the t-shirts, just different things like that. And there's a lot of ideas, and there needs to be a lot more conversation about this. I think city staff really needs to focus on city work. And but doing an occasional event is fine, but I just don't think that all of this is a lot. I would like to see how many hours staff puts in and what it's costing us, not just the staff and everything else. I think this also plays in with earlier what they said with the downtown revitalization, that, what do we want our city to look like? What do we want people? We need to beautify our city to when all these people are coming in. I don't know, one time they said 25,000 people came to the Harvest Festival. So what are they coming? They're coming to see food trucks and vendor booths. Well, what about the rest of our city? Why are we spending all this money if nobody's going to come back and visit us? We're a one-stop shop. They're going to come one time to a Harvest Festival and they're never going to come back. And so we have to work on our downtown. We've got to work on our marketing to have these events. These things are possible, but I just don't think the city staff should be taking them on all the time. There's, I just found out today, there's a large event in Monterey that's going to be canceled. This is the first year. I can't mention the name because it's not public yet, but so it's going to be a huge loss. And they can't do it anymore because it's too expensive. And so I think, we can put our money, I would prefer, instead of paying somebody to hold these events, let's try to look at alternative, get somebody to help us and to organize the nonprofits and take over some of these events and, shadow the city and maybe whoever's running them right now and learn from them, but it's all about organization. I don't think it's impossible. I'm just not a person that says no. I just think anything is possible and you can do it, figure it out. But those are just kind of my thoughts on the whole thing. Thank you.
I brought that the name of the festival should match what's on the street. And I love going to street festivals. I go all over the place, but it's usually the name that attracts, or the publishing, the marketing, the pictures. I know what I'm going to get when I get there. And my favorite is down in the city of Orange, where they have it's always on Labor Day weekend, International Food Festival, I know what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get international foods. And every street is designated, if you want Asian food, then you go there. If you want Mexican food, Cuban food, and they're big banners and people know exactly where to go. And they also have, street vendors of just different merchandise that has nothing to do with a particular culture, but because it's such an international, it's okay that someone's selling jewelry and then somebody else has got T-shirts and someone else has got something that they created or frames or different art, because it blends in with, we came for the food and now we have all this other stuff. And I tell you, I love going there. And I went down there this year, last year, I went with the intention of comparing it to our festival and what makes that festival so big. Well, one, it's location. It's in a big populated place, but the people, they just love walking around and really getting what they're supposed to be getting. And the other thing is that it's put in the center of the town, or it's really a little town, it's really in the city where the merchants are open, but you want to go into those merchants. They have antiques, they have a military, they have bistro, they have a Cuban restaurant, they have a Starbucks. I'm going down the memory lane. There's a citrus grill. There's another one that does, the people dress up like for a tea party, and it's really, people do go there. And it's, so all the merchants are enjoying the people coming in and going, and people are outside, and there's music and it's art. So there's a lot of stuff that I saw there that we have. We have the dancers, we have music, we have food, we have the variety of vendors, but what we don't have is harvest. So if you change the name, which maybe is, I'm already gonna be slapped around for saying that, but we went from broccoli to harvest, and there's a reason why, because people don't really like broccoli, right? The little guy, we like the broccoli man. But what I'm saying is we need to see, what are we marketing? And if it's truly a harvest festival, then that's our fault if we are putting vendors there that are not reflecting a harvest. And if we want the vendors that are there to be there, let's change our marketing and call it something else, whatever it reflects what's on the street. And then people will get here and they're not going to be disappointed. They're not going to come and say, hey, where are the tractors? Where's the wine? I thought you have all these wines here. There's not a single wine vendor here. Except they had a beer and wine thing. I know that. I saw it, but I actually didn't see it. I went looking for it and I couldn't find it. So I need to do a better job looking for the beer. What I'm saying though, even then, that should have been a lot easier to find. I go to the King City Fair and I go to the, I don't know what's called, the Emporium or whatever, the big building where they have all these ranchers have their product there. There's samples of artichoke and lettuce and different vegetables. I know what I'm going to go when I see them get in there, and they have their ribbons and they have their contests. I get it. I'm going to go into that building and I know what I'm going to see because they said that's what's going to be there. So there's no disappointment there. If I go to the barn, I know I'm going to go see the pigs. Well, they all can smell them too. The cows and the horses and the kids, the 4-H club. I love going to see what their animals are and who sold what. But I know what I'm going to get when I get there. So when you come to Greenfield, what are we going to get? Are we getting a flea market? Are we getting a swap meet? Are we getting a street festival? Is it just a street festival? Then call it a street festival. So when people get here, they know why we have cars. I love those cars. We have the taco trucks. They're not just taco trucks, the food vendors, the truck vendors. And you have people who are selling their own products that they brought, or the plants. And okay, well then that's what we say we have. So let's be honest with our product, advertise it correctly, and then promote that. And I'm also in agreement that we should see if, who can handle this, the big one. I'm talking about the festival right now. But can we get sponsors? Like, is there someone who wants to sponsor the fireworks, for example? And we make a huge banner. We advertise it on the freeway. We put their names on, big billboard, give them advertisement, fireworks sponsored by whoever. Maybe it's a bunch of people, but maybe we need to go bigger for the bigger cost. And then the other issue I want to know is, why are cities canceling their events and we're not? And these are big cities. Is it because they're now deciding that event is outweighed by this other event that we want to keep? Or is it just too much money and we need to put our money somewhere else? And let's be honest, we are struggling to meet our own budget here in Greenfield. So that's why I'm always asking why this much in the budget and all this. Because I wasn't elected here to put fireworks. I was elected here to take care of Greenfield. And if taking care of Greenfield means we don't have fireworks because it costs $20,000, and I could use $20,000 to bring in street safety, then I can guarantee you I'm going to get 18,000 people in Greenfield. They're going to say, make my streets safer, get those e-bikes taken care of. I can guarantee you I can do that. But I don't want to take away the fireworks, because we do have people who come here because their own cities don't provide it. So I want Greenfield to be known as that's the place we go on 4th of July. And we have lots of food and we have beautiful fireworks, but we market it as a 4th of July fireworks and people come. So when we advertise something, let's be honest of what we're advertising. Do I have an amen? Just kidding.
I have a couple of things. I agree we have a branding issue, definitely, with, everything you said is very much true. I think people need to know what they're attending, and it needs to, the title and how we put it out there needs to represent the end product and what people are showing up for. I do differ a little bit in my opinion that I do feel this falls under the city's purview. These are community events. Not necessarily for us to bear the brunt of all the expenses. I think that's where there's a big opportunity for us to collaborate and partner with nonprofits and community members even who just want to devote their time to making something like this happen for our community. So I think those are opportunities for strong partnerships. I don't think that the city should be stepping away from leading these events. I think they're really important for some of us, like, to be quite honest with you, the only time that I am able to get out into my own community, even with having like this very public facing role, sometimes are just these events that the city holds. And sometimes even then I cannot make it, but that's the only time that I'm able to feel part of my community and be out there in my community in that way. And these are community engagement events. We have a community engagement department. And at least since I've been here, and I was trying to recall and trying to write things out, but I think I am recalling correctly that since 2023, when I came on, we have authorized additional positions specifically for community engagement and recreation. First with even the position being called a coordinator, it wasn't even a coordinator when I got here. Then management positions in both rec and community engagement. I think there's been an addition of an assistant. So while these things do take time, I absolutely know that. I've shared that a lot of my role is planning things. I understand the investment that goes into that, but as a council and even a changing council, I think that we have tried to support that growth and supporting the infrastructure of what it takes to have a department that can do these things successfully by approving these positions and stuff for people to do this. So I do have a little bit of concern, I guess, when, I can recognize that this is absolutely a big lift. But then also with connecting that with, while it's a big lift, we've devoted more resources, more city resources to make these things happen. So I'm feeling a little bit of a disconnect between, if we're supporting in that way, then why would we be pulling back and saying, now let's reevaluate after we made these changes and invested more in community engagement and rec? Why would we pull back what we do? And then as far as like, I also agree that, you know, our downtown revitalization that was mentioned, like we do need to be investing in that, but then I feel like that falls under community development. So I feel like that's a different department and maybe like something else that should be looking at, and different staff that should be devoted to talking about the, you know, revitalization efforts. And I know they all overlap, and at the end of the day, we're all gonna pull from the same budget, like it's all gonna come out of the city budget, but those are just my thoughts that were coming up as we're talking about, you know, if we really want to continue to do these types of events. And so my position is like, I want the city to continue leading this. I absolutely think that all payment stuff should come through the city. I know that was one of the reasons that I brought this to council and wanted to discuss it. I think things should have a standard and a written rule of, you know, how much things cost. This is where you pay it. Nobody gets shortcuts or favors. And anything that our stipulations are written out, and it's still the same rule applies for everybody. And another reason that I brought this to council and I wanted to talk about it was just to make sure that we, it was part of this, but I know it's not part of your presentation, but as far as when we decide that something is a city-sponsored event, I know it was kind of briefly mentioned in one of them, just what kind of financial resources then the city will devote to that. So I just want to make sure that doesn't get lost in the conversation, where if the city agrees to host an event or to hold something, that we are okay with using a podium outside, using the city's flag hooks, things like that. So that was a part of this conversation that I just don't want to, I don't want that to get lost in this either.
I was surprised that you put Harvesty in there.
Harvesty.
Yeah.
It just.
That's what people refer to.
How else would you say it?
I know, you know what? We were in a workshop and I said, it's just not Harvesty. And then I was like, okay, it's not even a word, but I'm gonna say it. And I think that word just.
City Council, may I suggest something? We have the 4th of July celebration coming around the corner. So maybe we can use that as an example to make this priority list. So we have just some clear direction on how we can approach this event. I think that would probably be in best interest right now.
Right. Do you have enough to work with? Do you need more
No,
direction?
I think I mean, the city collecting funds, clearly is priority to council. Making events the way that they sound like they're going to look makes sense. That's really to, I think, Aaron's look and feel thing. Okay, so there's a couple of things that are issues related to that, and I know I'll take heat for this, but we have some vendors here in town that want to be a part of, let's say, the Harvest Festival, and they've been given some level of opportunity. I don't honestly know, but we're trying to, I believe, raise the bar quality-wise, and some of these vendors are doing what they do at the Market at the Gazebo or maybe the flea market, and we want to make, I believe, and I'd like council's input, I think we want to make demarcations of difference between those events. It's one thing to be a vendor at a Harvest Festival, another to be a vendor maybe at a it looks different. It looks nicer, cleaner, whatever, more well put together at our signature event when we make it more harvesty. Then these other, I don't want to call them levels, but I'll call them levels. I'll take the heat for it. And I think we need council's input on what you feel related to, I guess, that. Do we want to prioritize greenfield vendors or even vendors that we have all over the place, whether they're from greenfield or not? But it's particularly greenfield vendors, because we've talked about that in the past. Vendors that are here doing Market at the Gazebo, maybe and the flea market and any other group things that we get all the time. Do we want to prioritize them in our signature event? Or do we want to say that we want something different, or I don't want to say upscale, but cleaner, different, nicer? I don't know. I'll take it. I'll take whatever.
No,
anybody's
I
got.
totally get what you're saying, and that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna call it a harvest festival, then let's call it that. And as far as when the vendors go, then I'm come from an education background, so my job was to, not just my students, but my employees, to raise them up. You know, you're gonna go to the next grade level, you need to be prepared to be in the next grade level. You can't just be a first grader all your life. If I want you to be successful as you move up, we want people here to learn to run a business. And I don't want to have tier quality vendors on this side and tier 2 on this side and premiums over there. And no, we are a high quality across the board. The standard is for everyone. And if it means that we need to bring in our vendors and educate them what we want, I think that's fair to say, this is what we want. And I don't know how to do that, but do we go to where they're set up and say, hey, if you want to move up to the next level of being on a street festival, these are the things that we're looking for. The expectation is this. And then it's on us, if whoever I'm putting on, I guess I'm now a festivaler. It is on us, because then we presented the vendors or gave them permission to be there, right? We're saying it's okay. So maybe we also need to learn how to show us what you're going to do. Show us the product. Is it pictures or whatever? And then we're going to tell you our quality too. So I would like to elevate our vendors to the next level of being successful, not just here in Greenfield. Maybe they do such a great job that other people will want them at their places as well. So that's kind of what I want to do, is just elevate people to the standard. We're not kicking you out. We're asking you, can you join us at this level? We really need to be here. We went from the Broccoli Festival to the Harvest Festival. How many years is that now? 20?
Since the transition?
No, since the Broccoli Festival started.
So that would be 30, 40 years.
Okay, so we
40
cannot be
years.
looking any worse. We have to look better than 40 years ago. I have to look better than, 40 years ago. I can't look the same anymore. I have to do something. I have to change things, right? So I think I want that for our vendors. I want to elevate their business. And we have to have honest conversations.
Well, I think that it's not, I don't think it's all about just the vendors, it's the whole experience that we need to be looking at, like not just worrying about making sure we have 10 stages going all day, like for the Harvest Festival, for example, right? Like, hey, we have all these musicians, and just like making sure we fill so much space and refocusing things on the quality of what we do have there. So
yeah,
I think, it's not just like a vendor thing, it's the overall experience and focusing on the quality of the overall event, and not just the quantity of how many booths we have, how many vendors we have, or how many musicians we have, or attractions, whatever. I think that's kind of the root of like where we've gotten off track, where it was kind of like, just make it bigger and
Yeah,
bigger.
right.
And bigger isn't always like,
Bigger isn't
the
always better.
nicest quality function. So, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know why we land up with so many vendors. I mean, all these booths that we have, it's kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And it's not harvesty, but we have the same thing. So are we doing that to make more, whoever's putting on this, whoever's making that money, are they just bringing anybody in just to do that? To make money? We have like, what, 2 tractors? We didn't even have a goat, or like, I don't know, like a baby goat or a little petting farm, or I don't know, something, but something, there was no produce companies involved. And I agree with what they're saying, is that, what Mayor Pro Tem said, let's elevate the whole thing. The music doesn't need to be blasting where I don't even know what the song is saying, because it's so loud, and then the wind starts and the music carries down the road, and guess what? You don't even know what's going on, and people are dancing, but what are they dancing to? You guys played.
Mm,
Your band played.
mhm.
I don't know how many people there. I'm sorry, I missed it, but.
It was packed.
Yeah.
Standing room only.
You
Stay
rock.
there.
Well, for the
Right.
musicians also, right? If you have a main stage
Yeah.
and they're not competing with 5 other stages,
Yep.
then there is more of a community feel at each stage, or when
Yeah.
the 2 stages we have, or 1 even. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like we're all kind of saying the same thing. We're
Yeah.
getting, downsizing is better for the quality of the experience. But yeah, then if you're standing there with your whole community watching a group or, you know, a
Yeah.
band, is different than you're all spreading out because you're having to make choices at the same event about where you go. That also changes, you know, the feel of it. Like, my daughter may want to go see this stage and I might want to be here. And if we didn't have a choice, because this is the music right now, then we're gonna stand there together and we're gonna spend that time together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that I'm hearing that everybody kind of agrees that it's okay to downsize for the overall quality
Yeah.
to get back on track.
You good?
So we're focusing on making sure that the finances are taken care of. City will take care of that. We are actually prioritizing look and feel
Yes.
over, look and feel over making sure that greenfield vendors are prioritized? Or do we want to have some sort of priority?
I think,
Like-
I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay, no,
My
that's
mouth
okay.
started going
Because,
before
because
me.
those are kind of different. I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
we could maybe have, because we had heard prioritize greenfield vendors. Okay, we've heard that, heard it a lot. And maybe what happens is we allow greenfield vendors that are willing to meet the minimum standards, sign up a week before everyone else, or something like earlier, just say
Fill
earlier.
the slots, yeah.
Yeah, fill the slots, fill X number of slots so that we do prioritize greenfield vendors because that's one of the priorities. But then we're also setting a minimum standard for look and feel, as it were. I mean, these are the things that, I mean, we have a lot of people talking about a lot of things, and here's problems financially, here's problems with, you know, the booths cost too much, you know, and yet we don't want to spend more money on these events, yet we want the city to be involved, we want nonprofits to be involved. I agree with a lot of that. It's just that they're competing priorities. If we have them all, this thing is going to be very expensive to run. Or it's going to be a big lift for the city financially, bigger than normal. We've had Alegria Music. They started doing sponsorships. They started doing a lot of things that we hadn't done. That's been year over year driving the prices down a few $1,000s, and that's great. But we've got other issues. We know that, and we're trying to address them. So I just want to make sure that that we kind of set some solid priorities and also make sure that we have an event in 6 weeks or so, the 4th of July. We don't know who's running that yet. I would throw out that the city could do it, or we could have Alegria Music, hope I'm saying that right, do it because they've done it in the most recent couple of years along the guidelines of there's a minimum standard of the way the booths look, as well as cities collecting the money, supervising the finances, and anything else. I mean, this is not the Harvest Festival, so, but same thing goes true. Let's be who is 4th of July celebration. Let's bring in vendors that are 4th of July.
Yeah.
And let's bring in music that's 4th of July. Not to say that it can't be anything else, but let's have, you know, 4th of July stuff. So we do, for that event, since it's so close, we kind of need more concrete direction. Is it okay to have Victor do that if all these other things are met?
I think so. Personally, I think we're so close to the
Yeah.
event that we don't really have time to
Okay.
get it organized otherwise. I think if he is on board,
Yeah.
as long as he's got the guidelines and the parameters, I
Yes.
think I'm okay with
I
that.
think it's also an opportunity for Alegria Music to, you know, kind of strengthen that partnership again, you know, with, this is an event that they will still be facilitating for us or, you know, executing for us. And we will be making decisions on future events still. And, you know, like we said, Harvest Fest is down the road.
Basically
And
can
so
prove himself to
I feel like it's an opportunity for us to see like if this is a partnership that would benefit the city to continue with, because they've put events on for us before, and now we're kind of shifting the direction we want to go in with them. But just like any other business, he may be up to making that pivot with us also. So, but I do want to say that with what you said, like with the city collecting the funds and there being
Yes.
those guidelines that are
Right.
followed, then I would be absolutely comfortable with going forward with that as well.
Okay, and the rest of
Good.
council, okay.
And part of the, you know, you're saying elevated, what people, what our vendors are doing, what is it called? The one they have in November in Salinas? That big one they do at the rodeo grounds?
Don't know.
Flair on the Farm.
What is it?
2-day event, Flair on the Farm. They have 2-day event. They have a couple of hundred vendors that go out there. Everything's pretty much homemade. There's no, everything is, it's different. It's on a different level. But on their application, they actually, you have to describe what you're selling.
Mhm.
So that's something, you know, down the road to think about, you know, if Victor does it or whoever does it, you know, if it's something that you think about.
Little
You
more
have to
regulation.
describe.
A little more regulation.
Mhm. You have to, you've got to follow their guidelines or they don't let you in.
And
Simple
I
as that. And it's a booth there is like, I want to say it's $700. $700.
I think in the past when we discussed prioritizing Greenfield vendors, part of the discussion was that our locals, our Greenfield residents would get some kind of a discount on their booth, and that was the only really like discount we were talking about giving, or also if they were donating to like a set scholarship fund or something, then that would be another qualifying way to get a
Priority.
discount. Yeah, so I think I'm remembering that correctly, that we discussed those things as
That's a great
part
idea.
of like their, you know, being prioritized for being a Greenfield resident.
Give them an option.
Mhm.
Take the discount.
True, but they still have to meet the standard.
Certain standard, yeah, of what they're selling. All right.
Thank you.
Aaron, we good?
Now
Yeah.
it's better.
Thank you very much, council. I appreciate
All
this
right.
conversation.
Thank you.
Very
Aaron.
good. That finishes that item. We will adjourn to closed session. Do we have any public comments on closed session? Seeing none? we'll go to closed session. Do you want to read it? Yeah, go ahead and read it.
The city council meet in closed session pursuant to government code section 54957.6. Conference with labor negotiators. The agency designated representative is city manager Paul Wood. And the employee organizations are Service Employees International Union Local 521, Greenfield Police Sergeants Association, and International Association of Firefighters Local 4656.
Now go to closed session. Nothing to report and closed. And city attorney report,
I have nothing to report.
city manager report.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Then we will adjourn.
Amen.
I do have one question.